stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it, my folks locked down. I never went nowhere. What they saying, loot is back. Blame it on that contour. The hood call it Ludiac. And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down like strippers' booties go. My verses still be serving, tight like a million virgins. Last time on a college remix, now I'm on the original version. Can't never count me out, y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts, accountants count me in. Make millions every year, the South champion. Cause all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there. Swerving in my low, head on the swivel, you know serving me's a no-no. Clean as a whistle as I pull out in my Rolls Royce. Yellow bone passenger, they see it, they say, oh boy. Tell Cali, back it up, my niggas call me loco. Down for armed trafficking, don't make me pull that fofo. Ask you what you laughing at, represent that mud life. Dirty money, bitch, you better get your mud right. We come together, holding hands and holler hood life. We all strapping all black, it's like Bud Light. You riding or what? Cause we riding tonight. Now you riding with me cause you wasn't riding. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can.
Welcome to the Benona Bucs podcast number 25. Welcome to the Benona Buck podcast number 25. Tom Brady just won his 7th Super Bowl. His 5th MVP. We're here with Rose Clarity. She has to go do something real quick, she says.
I'm going to hand the phone to Ultra. Maybe he'll talk.
Ultra's joining us as well. Ultra's joining us on the B Money number 25, where we're celebrating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl championship. Can you believe it, Ultra? What's your thoughts on that?
Wow, I don't know.
We won the championship. Now my season tickets that I renewed are probably going to triple in price.
Yeah.
I can barely talk. I've been yelling and hollering all night long. Yep. You're going to hear me clearing my throat a lot. Because I've been just hollering.
You won.
Yeah, I've been hollering. Yeah, Tampa Bay, we won.
All right.
We were a wild card playoff team. We only had 11 wins going into the playoffs. And we beat some badass teams. We beat the Washington Redskins. Okay, they're now called the Washington Football Team. They had the second-ranked defense. They were badass. Their defense was real good. Beat their ass. Then we went to New Orleans on the road. We faced the New Orleans Saints, maybe the best team in the NFL, everybody thought at that time. And we whipped their ass. And then we moved on after we whipped their ass and we retired. We retired a great quarterback over there. Then we moved up to face another great quarterback, the MVP, Aaron Rodgers, up in Green Bay. And Tom Brady went up to Green Bay and whipped his ass. He just whipped everyone's ass. And now we came back down here to Tampa and played against everybody. Oh, they're comparing him to Michael Jordan. Pat Mahomes, he's the next Michael Jordan of quarterbacks. Guess what? You're facing the literal Michael Jordan of NFL football players, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. Yep, amazing. So, Tom, TB12. Also, if you go to the channel, go to the Benona Buck channel, you'll see I uploaded some videos. Tom literally sent me a T-shirt that I got. I got a notification during the game that I don't usually get mail on Sundays, but it said that a package has delivered in your mailbox. So I went out during halftime, and I grabbed this, and I got a TB12 creamsicle shirt from Tom Brady as we're whipping ass. So what a day!
Did you sign it?
Say that again.
Did they sign it?
No, but it's a really badass shirt. I'm wearing it right now. It's creamsicle. I'll bring it up to Michigan. It's really, really cool. And I'm surprised. I usually can't wear a 2X. I'm just too massive. I'm too massive of a man. But it's a 2XL and it fits me real good. So I'm just so excited. I've been yelling and hollering. All around my neighborhood here, everybody's watching the game. And every time that we would score, we got a thing that we do in Tampa where we fire the cannons because we're the Buccaneers. So
Yeah.
they're firing the cannons all around my neighborhood. They're shooting off giant mortar fireworks. Every time we score, the cannons are firing all around my house, and it's booms are going off everywhere. Every time, it's the coolest fucking feeling. Okay, so we would score, and the whole house is shaking. The dogs are freaking out, but it was worth it. It was really fun. And then when we won the game, it was just nonstop for like 10 minutes. It was like the grand finale of fireworks. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, that's what's going on. So I can't believe it. Seems so surreal because I bought the season tickets to the Bucs like a week or two before Tom signed. I just had a feeling. I had a feeling he was coming, and he did. And now it's been COVID, so everything's been so fucking weird. You can't go to the games. I had an option to go to like 2 of the games with my season tickets, and it was going to be all these restrictions and COVID tests and all this stuff. I didn't go, but luckily I did renew for next season. So now I'm renewing to the Super Bowl champions. Hey, Mountain Man. Hey, Mountain Man. What a game is right. What a game. I can't believe Tom Brady, Benona Buck, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the Super Bowl champions. Yeah, Mountain Man says that wasn't just a win, it was a butt whipping. It was. That's the biggest Super Bowl margin of victory of Tom Brady's career. Before, his biggest margin was 10 points in the Super Bowl. So I truly think we just started to get good because you can't come into the season. There's no training camp. It's a weird fucking season. You don't know any of the stuff. It took them half the season to just get used to it. And then you see what happened after the bye week. It was just, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. And every week, win, win, win. And I think next season, they're going to be way better than they are this year. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, come back to Diana.
Okay.
Hey, don't.
I didn't say that.
I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be the 96 Bulls next year. I think we're going to pick up some free agents. I think we're going to be the young players. Like we got a young tackle. His name's Tristan Wirfs. And we drafted him in the first round this year. He's a bad man. But guess what? By next season, by your second year in the pros, man, he's going to be so good. We are going to be real good. I'm real excited. I got my season tickets booked. I'm probably going to sell off maybe four games or so. And I'm going to go to 4 games. I think I get 8 games. So I'm going to sell the 2 preseason games. And maybe I get 10 games. I have to check. But I'm going to sell the 2 preseasons because I'm going to be in Michigan. And then I'm going to sell like maybe like the first 2 games of the year. And my ass will be there for the rest of them because I can't go to those anyways because I'm going to be up in Michigan. But so excited. This is my Tom Brady Super Bowl number 7 Tampa Bay Buccaneers World Champions podcast. It is not the Soaps Nice podcast today. It is the TB12 Super Bowl Champions podcast. What's your thoughts on that,
There
Rosa?
never was Soap's Nice podcast.
Soaps Nice, yeah, it is. I'm working on changing all the stuff to Soaps Nice. Yeah. I'm working on it. I haven't done it yet, but we're working on it. I'm fucking hype. I did not sit down during the game. I felt like I was in the game. You know, I was running back and forth, hollering. I should have been in the game. Yeah. So
How did Professor Bam weather the storm of you hollering through the house today?
I'm sure it stressed her out. it's sad because she did just have surgery, but she understands. She's very happy for me. She knows how I was very excited for this all year, since before the season. She knows it was a letdown that I got these tickets, and it's a big investment to buy season tickets. It's a lot of money, and you know, it just it didn't work out the way we wanted, but now it's like a dream. This is like a dream. It's like not even unreal. It's unreal. Imagine if you lived in literally people call them the Tampa Bay Succaneers. Okay? The Succaneers. So I've been going to the games since I've moved here. I've been living here in Tampa, and I've been going to the games, and I mean, we're not very good. We were 7-9 last year, but I went to some games, and I support the team, and we had some really young players. One of my favorites is Shaquille Barrett. Man. And Not Among Sue. And my buddy Teddy from high school is an NFL strength and conditioning coach, and he's friends with Sue. And if you seen, hey, Mountain Man, you seen Sue light up. How about when Sue fucking lit up Patrick Mahomes there at the end? He fucking smoked him. I was going crazy. He knocked the shit out of him. That was such a great hit. Such a great hit. Man, I'm so hyped. And I had to wait. I could have called you a long time ago. First of all, I could barely talk. It was really raspy right after the game. And I've just been drinking, trying to get my throat feeling better. But also, I've been so hyped. My heart was racing. I'm all excited. I was like, I better wait a little while to start the pod, you know?
I see.
So how's your day going?
My day was much more relaxed than yours, it sounds like.
Yeah, sometimes it's good not to have relaxed when your team can win that Super Bowl after being called the Succaneers. Imagine what that would feel like, Mountain Man, as a big-time Lions fan. You know what sucking's all about. People literally said to me, the Succaneers. Why are you buying Succaneers tickets? Succaneers. Some of my friends would even say it, the Succaneers. Why are you calling us that? And it's so funny. The Succaneers win one season with the winningest, the GOAT, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. led us to the promised land in year one. No one's ever done that. Peyton Manning, it took him 3 or 4 years. I can't remember exactly, but when he went to Denver, when he left Indianapolis, it took a few years to get to where he was. It didn't happen like this. And it didn't happen in a fucking pandemic where everything was all backwards and shit. Where you had no training camp, you had to get your new teammates. This is unprecedented. Michael Jordan did not go to the Washington Wizards and go win a championship. He didn't even go to the fucking playoffs, okay? So with Tom Brady at 43 years old, he went to Tampa Bay. He came here, and he changed the fucking attitude. It's all about, remember, I say this to you all the time. It's all about your attitude. It's all about the things you say, the thoughts that you think are so important. And that's what Tom Brady brought here. He took a 7-9 team, the Succaneers, and now we're the champs. We're the champs. I'm in Tampa Bay, and we're the champs. How do you like me now, Tom's saying? You know?
Don't mean to derail your excitement, but I'm actually curious because I heard a little bit about this, but I don't really know the ins and outs of it. But what was the political? There was some sort of political thing to do with the game itself, like a political angle.
There's a couple angles. I'll talk about those.
Yeah.
So angle number one, with that nobody's talking about. So first of all, if you watch these announcers, all these NFL guys talk about this, they're fucking pissed. They hate Tom Brady. Every time Tom Brady wins, it puts them down a peg, and they don't even know what to say. Everyone was rooting for the other team. Nobody wanted him to win. First of all, they hate him. That's a political angle. And secondly, Tom Brady and Donald Trump are very, very good friends. Tom Brady and his wife, Giselle, bought a house right next to the Trumps. They have a house over on the island over near Palm Beach, right next to Ivanka. They're very close. They're very good friends. Have been for a long time. Everybody fucking hates that. They found a MAGA hat in Tom's locker. Everybody got mad about that. Okay? They fucking hate it. They hate that they hate Trump.
They found a MAGA hat in his locker. Why were they in his locker?
I don't know. Someone spotted one in his locker. You can Google that. Look it up. Go find the article. I don't know. But that's the controversy. One controversy is that the GOAT is friends with Trump. You know who else is friends with Trump? Michael Jordan. So all the GOATs are friends. So that's a huge controversy. Nobody, these media people don't like Tom Brady. They don't like Donald Trump. And they hate that Tom Brady wins. And now, I don't know what they did. They put up a little icon after the game where they stuck it to the Patriots, though, where they showed Tom Brady 7, Patriots 6. So I don't know. I think they hate the Patriots, too, because also Bill Belichick, the coach of the Patriots, Tom's old team, is very good friends with Donald Trump. So is Robert Kraft, the owner of the Patriots. So that's a huge political angle. I mean, right now, Trump's friend in Florida just won the championship. Mountain Man says, I'd love to be in the locker room with Tom Brady. He will get you pumped up. And then Rose says, that's what she said, Mountain Man. Okay, that's funny. What's the other political? So that's the major one is for a lot of people in this country right now, their president lives in Florida. Okay? And he's friends with this guy who everybody hates. So there's multiple political angles. There's another political angle. If you watched this game, you would have noticed all the stupid fucking commercials. This was the worst Super Bowl. If you're one of these people, excuse me. If you're one of these people that watch the Super Bowl for the commercials because they're funny and interesting, today's Super Bowl commercials were the worst of all time. They were woke, number one. They were not intelligent. They were not funny. They were dumber than regular commercials that you typically see on. The only one I thought was somewhat interesting, there was a Matthew McConaughey commercial that was on. He was like flat, and then he, long story short, found himself Doritos 3D and made himself whole again. You'll have to check out
Doritos 3D are back?
Yeah, check out Matthew McConaughey. The one commercial I can recommend is go check out Matthew McConaughey's Dorito commercial. And other than that, just honestly, as an open-minded, I was wanting to like them. And every time I was like, that was fucking weird. Every time I would say that, it was literally, and you know that I'm the gayest fucking person. I'm leaning back onto a blanket that is LGBTQ. It's all rainbow. But this was, every commercial was woke, okay? It was pushing, if 80 to 90% of the fans of the NFL are white people that are between the age of 20 and 50-something. I don't know what the demo is exactly, but that's kind of their demo for most of their fans. Every commercial was like the wokest shit you've ever seen. The halftime show, completely woke. It was so woke, it was like, holy shit, this is weird, but it's fine. It just wasn't good. When you let woke get in I don't have a problem with woke, but when woke gets in the way of talent, when you choose woke over something better, when you choose a woke commercial over a funny commercial, we're having a fucking problem, okay? And all these women that watch the game just to watch the commercials, while their boyfriends and husbands are like all excited, they're let down. They're like, what the fuck did I just watch? They're not going to watch this again. This was bullshit with a capital B.
One thing I want to say about woke shit. The thing that bothers me the most about woke shit is it's not really as woke as they think it is, because they act like it's so brave to do things that nobody batted an eye at when we were kids. Really, Mm-hmm. Maybe the TV studios back then, but not average people. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's just kind of weird.
Yep.
Because, we all accepted most of that stuff 30 years ago, you know?
Yeah. No problems with woke. If you want to be woke and you want to, there's things that we do with, you know it, and I'm not going to say the company names or anything. Some of the things we do with our companies, we do things like we're environmentalists, and one of our companies we do a lot of that. You've seen our video. We support women. We support other nationalities. We support all kinds of different angles. Okay, you could even call us woke. Some of the videos we make, some of the causes that we support. We've supported Black Lives Matter in South Central Los Angeles this year. We've done a lot of things, okay? So when I say to you, I have no problem with woke, I really mean it, okay? If you're woke in a good way and you're like trying to do the right things, that's cool, man. Do it. Do the right things. Do the things that make you happy. You want to help women, minorities, rise to the top, give them more opportunities, that's fine. The problem is it's not about opportunities. They're not pushing the same opportunities. They're pushing the results, okay? So when all these commercials, these were bad commercials, and they paid a fuck ton of money to put these commercials on. Isn't it $5 million for 30 seconds? I think it is. So you paid a ton of money to do a stupid woke commercial that wasn't funny, it wasn't nothing, it wasn't even good most of the time. There's a couple decent commercials that were like, okay, this is even like worthy of playing on a normal day. A lot of them were not even worthy of being on television. They were that bad. That's my opinion.
I saw an interesting commercial today. I don't know if it was a Super Bowl commercial, but I saw an ad on YouTube, and it was new today that I just saw. So I don't know if it was a Super Bowl commercial or not. So, did you happen to see the Jason Alexander? I think it's a laundry detergent commercial.
No.
Oh, okay. Because that one was kind of funny. It's this kid has a Jason Alexander hoodie, and his mom tells him, "You need to wash your Jason Alexander hoodie." And he's like, "It's not dirty." And then you go to this little montage of all the times it's gotten dirty, and every time it's like Jason Alexander's face on the hoodie changes, and it starts playing that "Believe It or Not, I'm Walking on Air." You know?
Mm-hmm.
It was actually kind of funny. It wasn't political. It wasn't woke. It was just a funny commercial, you know?
Yeah.
It was new for me today. I just saw it, so.
Maybe that could have been played. Hey, I can also say that due to the shittiness of the commercials and the halftime show, I may have missed a good one. There could have been a good one in there that I missed. There could have. That could have played during the Super Bowl for all I know. I don't know. They were so bad, I stopped watching them.
I see.
Yep.
Yeah, I even skipped out on the halftime show this year. Usually I would watch it, but...
It was someone called The Weeknd, and they were terrible. They dressed like Michael Jackson. It looked like a kid's Halloween costume of Michael Jackson. It was a lip sync. I was going to watch it because I thought it was going to be live. But it was a lip sync, okay?
Oh, wow.
So they lip synced it, had a horrible costume. I just was like, this is too much. I'm not down with this. But it was that's the complaints. The game was amazing. The GOAT Tom Brady was amazing. The defense of the Bucs was amazing. Rob Gronkowski, 2 touchdown receptions, was amazing. Fucking Antonio Brown touchdown reception, amazing. Yep, had a great time. Hollering, yelling.
Mountain Man wants to know what is woke.
You tell him. Tell him what woke is.
Let's go and look up the definition of woke.
Yeah, define. Define it. Read the definition.
We're not speaking here.
Yeah, give me the definition. Maybe there's a couple spots we can get it from. What's the Huffington Post definition of woke, and then what's the Fox News?
I'm just Googling definition of woke. Alert to injustice in society, especially racism. We need to stay angry and woke. That is from Oxford Languages. From Merriam-Webster, it says, update, the word was added in September 2017. If you frequent social media, you may well have seen posts or tweets about current events that are tagged #StayWoke. Woke is a slang term that is easing into the mainstream from some varieties of a dialect called African American Vernacular English, sometimes called AAVE. In AAVE, awake is often rendered as woke, as in, I was sleeping, but now I'm woke. Woke is increasingly used as a byword for social awareness. It can be hard to trace slang back to its origins, since slang's origins are usually spoken, and it can be particularly difficult to trace a slang word that has its origins in a dialect. Woke's transformation into a byword of social awareness likely started in 2008 with the release of Erykah Badu's song Master Teacher. Anyway, there's a whole bunch more here. It's like a whole...
Do you have some other
article on
definitions?
words, so.
What does Crowder say woke is? I want to hear. I hear that that's what they say it is. That's a fine definition. I'd like to hear.
I don't think I can look. I don't think there's a Crowder dictionary. So.
Oh, I'd like to look it up. Let me find it. I think that was a fine definition. I think it was a good definition.
There's also fake woke, so.
Yeah, Urban Dictionary. There we go. Woke. Fake awareness. LeBron acts woke about China. He just full of shit. This is from the Urban Dictionary. Being mad as fuck about something. Oh no, that's big mad. Okay, I went to a different one. Woke. Okay, let's. Oh yeah, I like the Urban Dictionary's versions. Yeah, LeBron acts woke about China. He just full of shit. Fake awareness. That's what woke is. That's the kind of woke I'm talking about. I'm talking about these big companies that seem like they're just trying to sell products to different. The main marketable people. You go.
Some of it is also their goal is to trigger what they think Trump supporters will get mad about.
Weird, because a lot of the football fans are Trump supporters. Most of them.
They feel like it's their job to trigger us supposed unwoke people.
Trigger
they
to
don't
what?
realize that most people have been okay with that stuff for like 30, 40 years,
Yeah.
you know.
Fuck yeah, look, we got Mountain Man on the podcast. He's a fucking... He's with the gay bars and all that. Dirty
It
Tugs.
actually shows how unaware they are. I mean, it's kind of like how they were posting those gay memes about the Proud Boys. Proud Boys don't have any issues with gay people. And it was actually kind of homophobic for people to be posting gay memes about somebody they don't like as if it's an insult, you know?
Yeah. Yep. That'd be like if somebody used that against me, not realizing that I literally am one of the gayest dudes ever.
Right, if somebody says you're so gay, you'll say thank you.
I would. I'm super gay. In a good way, in ways that I enjoy. I literally wear LGBTQ flip-flops, hats, you know? Yep. Oh, so interesting. So...
Meanwhile, a gay man who founded the Walk Away movement actually got arrested for being at the Capitol.
Really?
Yeah, do you know about Brandon Straka?
No. I don't.
Hold on, I'll find information on Brandon Straka. And maybe we'll talk about it. Unless you probably want to continue to talk about the game.
No, we're good. 30 minutes is good. That's the intro to the pod. We're good. I'm just real excited. What a game. What a fun time. I would love to do a sports... If I had somebody that liked to talk about sports, I would do like a different... Like a sports podcast too once in a while. We could bring them on and do a segment about sports. That would be fun.
Okay. Well, are you aware of what the hashtag Walk Away movement is?
No, you tell me about it.
Okay, what it is people who identify as liberal or Democrat walking away from being liberal or Democrat and moving to the right.
I wouldn't do that either. I don't like them motherfuckers just as bad as I don't like the ones on the
It was started by a
left.
gay man named Brandon Straka,
Okay.
who got sick and tired of the fake wokeness.
Okay.
But I've got an article. I'll just probably grab the first article off the top.
Yeah. Good.
That's from NBC News. MAGA influencer Brandon Straka arrested in connection with Capitol assault. Self-described former liberal became a conservative media darling after he launched the hashtag #WalkAway campaign to urge others to defect to the GOP. This is by Dan Avery. This is from January 26th. Brandon Straka, a gay Trump supporter who launched the hashtag #WalkAway social media campaign encouraging voters to leave the Democratic Party, has been arrested in connection with the assault on the U.S. Capitol this month. Straka was arrested Monday in Nebraska, where he grew up, and was charged with impeding law enforcement officers during civil disorder, knowingly entering restricted grounds, and engaging in disorderly conduct with intent to disturb a hearing before Congress, NBC New York reported. Straka, 44, who describes himself as a former liberal, was a scheduled speaker at January 5th Stop the Steal rally at Freedom Plaza in Washington, D.C. The FBI received multiple tips about his presence at the deadly siege the next day. According to a federal affidavit, including a tip from a woman who claimed to be a relative of Straka's, Special Agent Jeremy DeSore detailed a series of tweets and videos Straka made during and after the attack. They have since been deleted. In one tweet, he called on patriots at the Capitol to hold the line, according to the affidavit. The affidavit says a video posted to YouTube by a witness shows Straka at the Capitol doors saying, "We're going in. They're saying we're going in. We're going in." At one point, the crowd was challenged by a Capitol police officer with a shield. Straka told them, "Take it away from him," according to the affidavit. The clip ends with Straka at the top of the stairs, the document says. "I was quite close to entering myself as police began tear-gassing us from the door," reads a screenshot of a tweet the FBI said it received. "I inhaled tear gas and got it in my eyes. Patriots began exiting shortly after saying Congress had been cleared." Straka is alleged to have tweeted after the assault that he was confused by conservatives who disavowed the rioters. For 6 to 8 weeks, everybody on the right has been saying 1776, and that if Congress moves forward, it will mean a revolution. So Congress moves forward, he wrote. According to the complaint, patriots stormed the Capitol. Now everybody is virtue signaling their embarrassment that this happened. Perhaps I missed the part where it was agreed that this would be a revolution of ice cream cones and hair braiding parties to take our government back from lying, cheating, globally interested swamp parties, he added. My bad. Straka also dismissed conspiracy theories that the protesters were Antifa or anti-fascist activists in disguise, according to the complaint. Be embarrassed and hide if you need to, but I was there. I was not Antifa at the Capitol. It was freedom-loving patriots who were desperate to fight for the final hope of our republic because literally nobody cares about them. Everyone else can denounce them. I will not, he wrote on Twitter, according to the complaint. At least 150 people have been charged in connection with the attack. Straka, who has made his Twitter account private, did not respond to a request for comment. Straka, a former hairdresser and aspiring actor, became a right-wing social media star in 2018 when he launched a YouTube video explaining why he decided to walk away from the Democratic Party using hashtag #WalkAway as the tagline for his incipient movement. Once upon a time, I was a liberal, Straka says in the 6-minute clip. For years now, I have watched as the left has devolved into intolerant, inflexible, illogical, hateful, misguided, ill-informed, un-American, hypocritical, menacing, callous, ignorant, narrow-minded, and at times blatantly fascistic behavior and rhetoric. The video, which was watched millions of times, earned Straka follows on Twitter from Sarah Palin and Donald Trump Jr., as well as 10,000 donation from Alex Jones of InfoWars and an invitation to appear on Fox News' Ingram Angle. The Alliance for Securing Democracy, which tracks Russian interference in U.S. elections, alleges that #Walkaway's success was the result of Russian boots. Last year,
Everything is
campaign
Russia,
held
huh?
rallies in Dallas, West Hollywood, California, and Washington, D.C. In June, Straka was banned from American Airlines after he refused to wear a mask on a flight from New York to Dallas. The day of President Joe Biden's inauguration, Straka acknowledged his followers' sadness in a Facebook Live video, but said he was excited about our future. I just feel that there is so much to be excited about. It's such an era of great reformation that's just beginning, he told viewers, adding that there was now an opportunity now for us to wake people up and connect with people. I don't believe the rallies are going to stop, he said in the clip. I don't believe our families or communities are going to stop. And that's the article. You didn't know anything about this?
No.
What are your thoughts?
Mountain Man. Okay, so we'll go to Mountain Man in a minute. My thoughts are, I have no thoughts. Don't care. I don't know, don't care.
Okay.
Don't care about the conservative Republicans. They can kiss my ass. I don't care about any of it. They're both fucking garbage, in my view. That's my view. Garbage. The last ones I've sent money to was the Democrats, and they're garbage too. Yep.
Robadoo.
Yep, garbage. Mountain Man, Buck, what do you think about the trade of Stafford for Goff and 2 1 picks and a 3rd round? I didn't see the details of the trade. I know that it went down. I know that Stafford was traded for Goff. I don't know about the picks. If the Lions got picks with Goff, that'd be pretty cool. Or if the Lions sent picks, I'll have to go check it out. But, I mean, just the trade itself seems like it could be good for the Lions. Stafford's getting older. They sent him to a situation where he can go win now. Good for him. Los Angeles, that's a good team. They could go to the Super Bowl. They're a very good team. So I think that'll be great for Stafford. And we'll see if he's a winner. Let's see if he can actually do it. Everyone says, oh, he's a loser. Well, we'll see. I think it wasn't his fault that they were losing. I don't believe that. I think in the right situation, he could be amazing. So I think Jared Goff could be a great quarterback. I think he's a very, very good quarterback. He was in Los Angeles. Yeah, okay, the Lions got picks. Yeah, great trade. Great trade. Get a younger version of Stafford. Maybe he's not, even if he's 85, 90% of Stafford, I think he could be. As a younger player that you can, and if you can lock him in for a lot of years, that'd be awesome. And if you got those picks, damn, Lions got the picks. That's a great trade for Detroit. Now let's see Detroit fuck it up, because they're a bunch of morons and they do everything backwards for some reason. So let's see what happens. And Rose, good article about the gay man, Brandon the gay man, who wants you to walk away from the Democrats. Hey, I'm all for that. The problem is, until there's a third party now, I don't know where to walk to, because I don't trust the Republicans.
Get radicalized completely the opposite direction, though. Completely radical.
Say that again. I'm sorry. I had a hard time hearing you.
I said he managed to get completely radicalized the other direction, though. Like, he's gone completely radical right.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird, yep. Being radical either way probably is not the answer.
Right.
Especially when these fucking so-called Republicans, they did nothing. To the agency or whatever, that letter to the SAG-AFTRA Actors Union or whatever, that could be a letter to the Republicans, okay? It's the same fucking thing. You have done nothing for me. Who cares? Seriously. That's a letter Trump should send to those assholes too. You have done nothing for me. I have lifted you from the fucking ruins. Yep.
I've got new news today on Trump.
What you got? I got some good stuff too. What you got?
From the New York Post, Trump happier now that he's off social media.
Yeah, I
Number
read
8.
this. I read this earlier today. That's good. Yeah, go ahead. It's a nice article. Go ahead.
Okay, this is by Jackie Sallow, February 7th, which I believe is today, right?
Yeah, it was this morning that I read it.
Former President Trump feels happier since leaving the White House, partly because he's off social media, his former campaign aide says. The president has said he feels happier now that he's been in some time, said former Trump campaign strategist
Stephen Miller.
in an interview with the UK Sunday Times. Trump was banned from Twitter, Facebook, and other social media platforms after the siege on the Capitol last month. He said that not being on social media and not being subject to the hateful echo chamber that social media too frequently becomes has actually been good, Miller told the outlet.
Melania concurs.
That's something that the First Lady, Melania, has backed up as well. She has said she loves it, that he's much happier and is enjoying himself much more, the aide said. Trump has also benefited from no longer being under the pressures of the highest office, Miller said. Since Trump left the White House, it's been the first time in years that I saw the president truly relaxed, Miller told the paper. Only 45 other people in U.S. history have experienced what it is like to have the world on their shoulders and to be able to exhale knowing that it's not all on you, for the first time in 4 years. Meanwhile, Trump shared some very tender moments with his family as he left Washington, D.C. for his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida, Miller said. It was fun to have a front row seat for that. The emotions ran the entire gamut. Some folks were very sad that this day had come, but there was a sense of pride that this was the single most successful first term in U.S. presidential history, Miller said.
Yep, that's true. That's true. What a great article.
We still got a second. Maybe we'll get it in the future.
What's that?
I said, we still got a second coming up. Maybe we'll get it in the future.
A second what?
Okay.
A second what?
Term.
Maybe. Maybe not. I wouldn't do shit again. Fuck them. Fuck these fucking politicians. Go make money and be happy. These assholes there's nothing. The votes don't matter. Your vote doesn't matter. They'll just turn it off in the middle of the night and change it to whatever they want. The first time he snuck up on them. The first time they thought it was going to be 99% Hillary was winning in a blowout. You know what I mean? So maybe they weren't. They didn't have it all set up. They did have a lot of things set up because they did all this bullshit where they tried to stop him, where they were like listening in on him at Trump Tower. They're doing a lot of stuff, but it didn't work the first time. I don't think they had the machines. This time they definitely had the machines and other things, is what it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah. According to Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, Professor Bam wants me to go up and watch this movie with her. She said he has absolute certainty of election fraud. The My Pillow guy, and that's why they're banning him off everything.
The My Pillow movie?
I don't know. There's a movie that he has.
Yeah, I've heard there's a movie.
Yep.
I've heard about it, but I haven't really gotten into that
It's on Rumble. It's on Rumble. If you want to go see it, go to Rumble and go to Mike Lindell. After the pod, she's asked me to come and watch it with her.
I see.
Yep.
This should be fun.
I don't know if it'll be fun. Anything I can do to spend time.
Or something that'll piss you off beyond measure.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers.
We already know what it is. There's nothing. They're able to do this. They're the power. They have all the power. There's nothing you can do. What can you do? What can you do when this has happened? This is obvious. It's obvious as can be. It's the
Right.
biggest scam of our lifetimes, of anyone's lifetime. It's a huge scam. There's nothing we can do, so we just go with it. Our greatest president, Robidoux. The most popular president in history with 81 million votes, all from real people.
Who aren't dead.
Mountain Man says, Buck. We won't know if the Bucs won for 3 weeks. Have to count the mail-in touchdowns. Yep, that's true, because when I went to bed, Trump was winning with an even bigger blowout than the Bucs had in the Super Bowl. And I posted on social media on Facebook, I said, we're winning by literally blowouts. 800,000 votes in Pennsylvania we're ahead by. We're ahead by over 15% in all the swing states. There's no way they could come back. But I have a feeling they're going to cheat in the middle of the night and steal the election. And sure enough, they did, and they kicked me off of Facebook right at that moment. I went to log in the next morning to try, like I was logged out, I didn't know what it was, and I tried to log in the next morning and no account, no picture, no nothing, like it didn't even exist.
Man.
Rose messaged me on text message. She's like, hey, I see notifications that you posted something, but I can't see your account. Some people thought I deleted them. I was like, no, I didn't delete you. I've been erased.
Got deleted.
Yep, I've been erased for having the wrong opinion. An opinion that was wrong. And I've heard other people, too, have said the wrong type of thing. So I can agree with that article you read about President Trump being happy or not on social media. I'm way happier. How long has it been since November, the AM of November 4th, the early AM? It's been good. I'm not on Facebook. I'm happy. I wonder sometimes what my friends and family are doing. I heard from Professor Bam. She'll tell me. She said, "Oh, I saw Mountain Man got to go see your grandma." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that. That would be cool to know." So luckily, Professor Bam can tell me sometimes right now why she still is allowed to have an account. But she's.
I saw that another person had gone to visit your grandma, but I didn't realize it. Mountain Man had also.
Oh, I thought maybe Mountain Man did. Oh, maybe that was Mom that told that to me. Maybe it wasn't Professor Bam. And Mom could have said the wrong names. Who knows what? Who knows what it is?
Maybe.
Yep.
It was the one whose name starts with a J.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he was able to go inside and see Grandma.
Yeah, I believe so. I think I saw pictures where it was through plexiglass.
Through plexiglass? That's fucking weird.
In like a room.
Huh.
Yeah.
Totally weird. Totes. Here, I got some stuff here. Let me grab some of this shit here that I had. Mountain Man says, let's go to a gay bar together. I'm down with that, Mountain Man. Whenever you want to, we'll head out there, get you a dirty tug. Mountain Man is nude right now in his cabin. The cabin is 90 degrees. He has no clothes on. He's sitting there celebrating the Bucs championship with me. I sent you a bunch of good shit. Okay. There's so many good... Okay, so this is one. Man, there's so many good shits that I sent you. Let's start with this one, because of cancel culture we were talking about. Did you see that the White House sign language interpreter that's been doing all the interpreting on the Biden videos has now been canceled by the Biden people? She's fired now.
No, I didn't see that.
The White House sign language interpreter, this is the New York Post. The White House sign language interpreter who was outed as a Trump supporter. This is looks to be a Spanish woman. Looking at her. Let's see. Outed as a supporter of former President Donald Trump. Said Sunday she hasn't been offered a return engagement since they found out she was a Trump supporter. So I guess she was a contractor of the White House. So she was hired. You'll see her if you go back and watch all their videos, their dumb shit videos where they turn the comments off. Okay, she hasn't been offered to come back again since they found out she was a Trump supporter. Heather Mushaw, who began working as an independent contractor for the White House last year, said she hasn't been contacted by the Biden administration in the wake of a Time magazine doxing report, they doxed her, that revealed she translated speeches for conservative media groups, those Nazis. The goal of my activity at the White House or with Hands of Liberty is that it's all about access, Mushaw told the Post. The thing is, I was canceled and humiliated publicly, and it was unjust and unfair. Mushaw, a 41-year-old married mother of four from Glen Burnie, Maryland, also said she's been harassed and intimidated online for providing American Sign Language translation for the Hands of Liberty Facebook group and its defunct predecessor, Right Side ASL. Those videos include one featuring former Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani that's titled, What Really Happened on January 6th, the day of the deadly storming of the U.S. Capitol by Trump supporters, and another, since removed, that featured controversial Dr. Stella Emanuel, who has promoted treating COVID-19 with hydroxychloroquine. Mushaw said she doesn't necessarily agree with everything she translates, but does the volunteer work in response to requests from people who want to see speeches by Republican politicians and other conservative figures translated into ASL. Her critics, Mushaw said, don't want this content to be interpreted because they don't believe in it. Deaf people just want a chance to decide for themselves what information is out there, and that shows a picture of Heather interpreting Jen Psaki's press conference. Oh, she's very pretty. She's much prettier than the other ones they were using. Mushaw also claimed there's a double standard for conservative ASL interpreters and pointed to remarks last year by David Cohen, who translated speeches for Republican Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and other GOP state officials after attracting attention for signing a Beyoncé song at the 2019 Atlanta Pride Festival. To me, it doesn't matter, Democrat or Republican, gay or straight. I'm there to provide a service and deliver a message to deaf people, she told the Atlanta magazine. Although she acknowledged being a Trump supporter, Mushaw said she paid about $20 to buy a red Keep America Great hat for a video titled Thank You, President Trump, from the Right Side ASL team that was posted the same day President Biden was inaugurated last month. Mushaw said she was upset by images posted online that falsely show her wearing the hat during the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki's January 25th briefing. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if that was legit? If the sign language girl was wearing the fucking Keep America Great hat while she was signing? Oh, that's funny. Okay, oh, this really got me rolling. Okay. That marked the first and only time she was hired by the Biden administration after interpreting 5 briefings for the Trump administration between November and December of last year. Other attacks on Mushaw included a Change.org petition that's garnered nearly 9,000 signatures and a since-deleted tweet by deaf model and actor Niall DeMarco, who wrote, "Imagine what harm she could cause, literally holding the message in her hands." University of North Carolina education professor John Henner, who said it would be problematic for Mushaw to continue working for the White House, told the Post that I initially wasn't interested in canceling her. The past couple of weeks have shown a lot of discussion on the topic about if sign language interpreters can really play for both teams, so to speak, especially if they have strong feelings either way. Henner wrote in an email Sunday, regarding Mushaw, it's unfortunate that she did not predict the reaction that she would get from many people in the community given her previous interpreting choices. And then it shows a picture of her wearing the Keep America Great hat. She looks nice in it. Looks good. A White House spokesman declined to comment beyond referring to an earlier prepared statement that said, "The president and this administration have made a commitment to having an ASL interpreter at every press briefing and are working to follow through on that commitment every single day." Oh, thank you, Biden. Such a great statement. So what's your thoughts on that there, Rose? What do you think about canceling a deaf interpreter? Because she might be a conservative.
And I can understand why they'd be terrified of her.
Yeah.
Because it would be so easy to be in that position and absolutely troll them.
Yes.
To misinterpret what they're saying.
Yes, yes, yes.
That'd really be hilarious. I mean, how many sign language interpreters have we seen screenshots of or freeze frames of, where what they're doing seems to be making fun of the person that they're translating?
They're always making weird faces and shit, you know? Strange faces.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, being in that position as somebody who is opposed to the person they're translating.
So yesterday we learned... Was it yesterday we learned about the literary agent fired? Or was that the day before?
I'm not certain.
Remember the literary agent that was fired? It was yesterday.
Yeah, that was yesterday. That was an article in Newsweek. Yeah.
Now they've canceled the sign language interpreter. They've also canceled a New York Times reporter. I'm not going to read this article, but he said the N-word, not in a negative way. They were discussing things regarding that. And he spoke the word.
Can you imagine if President Donald Trump, when he had gotten into office, had fired this many people from the previous administration?
Yeah, remember? Yeah, because they fired a black man who I think is gay. Isn't that the Surgeon General, right? A gay black man they fired right away. They're firing a deaf sign language interpreter who looks to be, like, looking at her, now I can't say for sure, but she looks Latino. They're firing everybody. They're so woke, the Biden administration.
And when we say they because we know it's not him.
Yeah. Oh, he's doing nothing. These are the Obama people that work for the people that are really in control.
Okay. We need to get a remix of a Little John song.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Okay. The fucking guy was on the Super Bowl today. This guy is not with it. Or his wife. Neither of them are with it, and I'm sorry. They never let Trump do this. He didn't talk like this. He didn't get a spot before the Super Bowl. That's worth a lot of money.
No, who was it that was on there?
Biden. The Bidens. Dr. Jill Biden and Joseph R. Biden.
I thought you said Little John or Elton John. I wasn't sure.
No, they had a spot just before the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm sure was a very expensive spot that they gave to him. Just to talk about nonsense. Robidoux was in full nonsense mode. He was.
Oh, I missed it. I was busy watching soap making videos today.
Oh, good. I would love to be talking about that.
Nah, they're not really that interesting. I was just kind of avoiding the Super Bowl mayhem.
Huh.
And all the... it's a bit too, what's the word?
My dad didn't watch it either. I called him. There was...
Game, but then there's all the propaganda around it. It's a bit too much for me, you know?
My dad is a big fan of the linemen, and he always taught me to watch the linemen. So there was a play where Fournette, you'll hear this, Mountain Man, Fournette, it was a run to the right, and it looked like a pulling guard, okay, but they actually had an extra lineman on the field. So the guard, or the lineman was pulling out in front of the running back, and he just smoked a block. It was awesome. And I called my dad. I was like, hey, did you see that? That was amazing. He's like, I'm not watching the game. I'm watching outdoor TV. What in the fuck are you doing? It's Super Bowl. Watch the game. I said, nope. He's watching outdoor TV instead, and you were watching soap making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were watching outdoor TV as well. There's a bunch of different things we were watching today. Not specifically outdoor TV, but a lot of outdoorsmen kind of videos. No wooden shirts today.
Yeah, what all's going on? It's freezing cold up where you are.
Yeah, it's around 9 this morning. It was like 5 degrees, and then I went to sleep for a while because I sleep in the daytime like a weirdo. And then when I woke up, it's 9 degrees, and I believe it's 10 degrees now. Yeah.
10. So it's a big increase for you.
Like cold today.
I hope that my house is not. I hope the pipes aren't freezing. I hope Professor Bam checked the security. We got like a thing where we can check the temperatures, and it was 41 degrees when it was 9 degrees outside in the coolest part of the house. So as long as it stays above 32, we should be okay.
Yeah, we have a low of 7 tonight.
Yeah, well, hopefully it stays above 32 in my house, and no pipes break.
Tomorrow it'll be much nicer. It'll be in the teens.
Oh, good. Perfect.
Cat went for a brief walk today.
Oh, how was that? Yeah, how is it walking your cat when it's that cold? He probably doesn't want to be out there very long.
He was out there for a minute. He did a spray or two, and then he's like, gotta go in.
The spray probably freezes.
He marched his way back to the front door. He's like, nope. Usually it's hard to get him to want to go in, but past couple days he marches himself to the door and meows at it, so he's making it easier on us.
Yeah, good. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So is there anything that you were thinking you wanted to talk about today on today's podcast?
I didn't really grab too many articles or anything.
Did you even know if we were going to
do?
Did you even know if there would be a podcast? I wasn't sure.
I figured if the Bucs won, there would definitely be a podcast. I figured if the Bucs lost, we might never do a podcast again.
Why do you think that? I would be on. I'm a champion. I'm a champion. If we lost, we'll be back again. Hey, we're going to be back again. The best part about today was Thomas Brady saying he's going to be back for the next run next year. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And better than ever. He'll be 44 years old, kicking ass.
No, I didn't collect a lot of stuff because I figured you'd have a lot to talk about. Plus, you haven't really talked much for the past.
Oh yeah, no big deal. I got my stuff out about the Bucs. I'm real excited. I think everyone could hear that. That's it. I'm excited. It's fucking amazing. Great day. Very cool. I got the notification on my phone that I got a delivery. You know, who's delivering on Sunday. Apparently Tom Brady delivers on Sunday. That's funny if you think about it. Nobody delivers on Sunday. Tom Brady delivered to me via DHL on Sunday during the Super Bowl. Think about that.
Wow. Huh.
Yep. So I got my TB12 creamsicle shirt on. I love it.
Wait, hold on. Did you not notice that there was supposedly a Edward Scissorhands Super Bowl ad?
I saw it. It sucked.
Okay. I'm just looking through.
I saw the ad. It was one of the... Okay, it sucked. It was one of the better ads of the sucky ads. It wasn't good. None of them were good, I don't think. I saw that one.
Supposedly that guy who was in that ad is going to be in the Batman Beyond movie that they're talking about. As Terry McGinnis with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, that was one of the better commercials of the sucky commercials.
I see.
It was a Cadillac commercial. I saw it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm just looking at headlines as we speak, and I see that. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Oh.
The Matthew McConaughey one, I think, was the best. And it wasn't even that good. It was all right.
Cool. I guess.
It was weird without the regulars. It was weird without the Budweiser Clydesdales.
Yeah.
A lot of the commercials were fucking...
commercial, I mean, you know?
Oh, hold on. Tom Brady's emailed me. Celebrate number 7. What's up, Tom? Yeah, baby. I think I will celebrate number 7. Fucking right, I will. Can't believe he got 7 fucking Super Bowl championships. That's amazing. Yep, send it to me, Tom. Hold on, I'm busy doing an order. Hold on, I have to pause my game. All right, I'm doing an order on the podcast. Thank you, Tom. Thank you for the email. Thank you for the shirt. I will place an order with you now. Okay. Cool. Done. So what's is Elite Edge on tonight? Is anybody else on tonight? We've had a lot of viewers this pod.
I have not. He hasn't been in the chat, and I haven't had any response from him since earlier today. So I don't know if he's going to be around. He might have gone to bed early tonight.
Ah, cool. Yeah, we had one of our most controversial podcasts yesterday. The day before that was a fighting one. Yeah. What up, Kate? What up, girl? So, yeah, yesterday we had one of our most controversial. The day before I thought was more controversial, a lot of yelling. But that one has all likes on it. Yesterday's has a whole bunch of views, which is good. But then for some reason we have a good amount of likes, but then we have a whole bunch of downvotes on yesterday's.
Huh.
Yeah, so very controversial, I would say. And controversy's okay by me. I like that. Yeah. No comments. Just a comment by you.
Just a bunch of votes. That's crazy.
A lot of views. No comments, though. Like most of our pods get a lot of comments. None. There's no comments. Just one by you.
Oh, wow. How the heck did we get 8 downvotes?
Don't know.
Huh. Nobody even knows we exist who's downvoting it. Who's viewing it like that?
Oh, Kate's listening to the pod on headphones. That's beautiful, Kate. I'm so glad that you're here with us. So glad that you're...
Maybe they didn't like marijuana.
They might not have. I have no idea. Don't know what it was. Let's blame Mountain Man. Mountain Man caused all the downvotes with his thorough explanation of marijuana farming and caring for those who have terminal illness. Yep. Swoosh. Yeah, so what you want to talk about, Rose? What you got on your docket today? I got a whole bunch of shit I can read. I can just pause this and start reading all kinds of...
Well, maybe we ought not to talk about Batman, marijuana, or winemaking. We'll get downvotes.
Who knows? It's controversial. There's a lot of views.
Right.
There is a lot of upvotes, but there's twice as many downvotes. But there's no comments, which is very strange. Usually we have comments. And I had a lot of weird feedback on the PlayStation Network.
Really?
Mm-hmm. The last 2 pods I've gotten weird feedback.
Huh.
Not just
Maybe
yesterday's
we're getting some weird attention from,
Scientology. It could be Scientology.
opposition.
Yeah, it could be Scientology found us. And they heard...
Oh, Lord, you've been tagging Tom Cruise.
Could be.
Haven't you?
Yeah, it could be. I have been, yeah. I have been.
Oh. Uh-oh. Well, that kind of sucks. I mean, I enjoyed having my buddy on last night.
There's a lot of views. A lot of people are looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people are looking at it. And there's a lot of likes. There's no comments, though, which is very strange. Strange for our podcast to not... Usually we have a lot of comments.
Right.
Is what I've noticed. People seem to like to talk to us. Kate, look at Kate's talking to us. I want to read Kate's comment. Kate says, I'm on. Kate says, listening to it as I lay down. Headphones on, and M is sleeping. Oh, M. Oh, M and K. The loves of my life. Out there in the Western land. Kate, I'm so fucking excited about this Super Bowl championship. It must feel similar, maybe less than the excitement you felt with the Dodgers winning. I know you were super excited when the Dodgers won. I had bought season tickets to the Bucs before Tom Brady came. I've been going to the games and stuff, and my friends call them the sucking ears. So it's just kind of cool to just kick ass and win. Feels good. Feels good. Yep.
I wonder if, the wrong person getting a hold of that and sharing it amongst certain kinds of friends,
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure.
It's probably what happened.
I don't know. That's our first downvotes.
Oh, wow. Must have been controversial, eh?
I don't know.
Oh. I don't know what we talked about that would have been so controversial. Anyhow, that was the first I'd heard about that. I hadn't even looked back, really, so.
I just did when I went in. I went into the YouTube to play All I Do Is Win, 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 No Matter What to intro the show. Yep. Yep. So what's on your mind for things you want to discuss today? Or do you want me to just... Here, I'll do it. Got all kinds of shit to talk about.
I'd let you take the wheel today.
Take the wheel. I always take the wheel. I always do. I'm always driving fast, too. Yeah, I emailed you a whole bunch of things that I wanted to talk about. Let's see.
Email or Snapchat?
I emailed you. Okay. Here's a good one. You motherfuckers are going to love this shit. From our favorite news source, the most trusted name in news, CNN. NYPD disciplines officer who wore a pro-Trump patch on her uniform. Here's a good article from CNN. A NYPD officer seen on social media wearing a pro-Trump patch while in uniform has received an initial discipline, New York police spokesman Detective Sophia Mason said. And just so you know, the patch is the Punisher skull with the Trump hair. It's fucking cool. It looks really cool. The NYPD Sergeant Benevolent Association identified the officer as Sergeant Dana Martillo. CNN has made multiple attempts to reach Martillo for comment and has not heard back. Police did not want to detail what initial discipline the officer received. NYPD prohibits officers on duty or in uniform from publicly expressing personal views and opinions concerning the merits of any political party or candidate for public office. On Saturday, Mason said the NYPD is aware of the video showing her wearing the politically oriented patch. The patch said Trump and make enforcement great again and it's a patch of like a fucking the Punisher skull with the Trump hair. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but you heard it. You heard it here. They're punishing the NYPD for supporting Trump.
Right.
Yep. He supports the police and yep, definitely. Here's one that
yeah, well, we remember that article a few weeks ago about how they're trying to get the Punisher to change his logo because too many Trump supporters.
we did. Yep, and now the police are wearing Punisher Trump logos. Kate says, just to pop into the comments, Kate says, I cried when LA won. All happy tears, so emotional. Kate, I'm so emotional for you. I'm so emotional tonight. I didn't cry, but my voice, my mouth, my throat hurts so bad from hollering and yelling. I didn't sit down the whole time. I was running back and forth, pretending like I was playing in the game. This is an article. This is a pinnacle moment on the podcast right now. Okay, 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 23 seconds into this stream. B-Money number 25. This is a crazy... This is them admitting that they rigged the election. Okay? Are you ready?
Is this the Time article you're talking about?
Uh-huh.
Ah.
The Time article. The secret history of the shadow campaign that saved the 2020 election. Basically, and I'll post this one in the... I'll just post this one in the comments. Let's go open in Chrome. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I want you guys to read it. So basically this article, it's very long, and it gives us all the details of how all these companies, all these not-for-profits, all these things, they band together to fix the election. Okay? It was a fucking scam. And this was how they did their part of the scam. So I'll put it in the... I'm not going to read the whole... I'm not going to read it at all. But I am going to put it as a comment. And I want you guys to check it out.
Paul did a whole segment on it a couple days ago. I think he's got one of his short clips.
Who did? Tim Pool did?
Yeah. If you go look at his stuff, he's got just a short clip of his show where he talks about it.
Oh, cool. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go in here. And let's put it in the chat. Yeah, if you want to...
I'm not...
If you want to read it, you can.
If they did any of that, I'm just surprised they're admitting it.
They're admitting it. They're completely admitting it. I read it and I was like, holy shit. They're just saying it blatantly. They're saying it. They're just saying what they did. Yeah.
Which means that there's absolutely, they really believe that there's absolutely nothing anybody can do to go against them.
We can't. We can do nothing. They're just saying, they're saying it out loud. Oh, here's a good one. Journalist whines about uncomfortable relationship between Tom Brady and Donald Trump. It's what we talked about. It's just, he kept a MAGA hat in his locker. Fuck all you motherfuckers. You are all losers. You are losers, and you are what's wrong with America. Mark that down. Cancel me, bitch. Cancel me. Find out who I am and try to cancel me. I dare you. I'll fuck you over. I will fuck you over so many times and so bad, you won't even know what to do with yourself. So, what else you got, Rose?
Like I said, I don't really have much for today.
Okay. Well, cool. It's been a fantastic Benona Buck number 25. You want to shut it?
If you wanna, I can find things, but I figured I wouldn't go because I figured you'd wanna.
My throat hurts really bad. I don't really have a lot to say. I would have read the whole Time article. It hurts to talk right now.
Do you want me to find the Time article and read it?
Sure, it's in the link. Yeah, go ahead and read it. I would love to hear it.
Okay, hold on. I've actually been holding on to that Time article for the right.
Well, there you go.
But we've been having some. We haven't had the right time. You know what I mean?
Hasn't been the right
Hold on,
time
I
for
can't find
time.
the link. Hold on. Things have been a little hectic. A lot of things have been going on, and
You ain't kidding. This is Super Bowl week. Professor Bam had fucking surgery on Tuesday. It's been hectic. I don't know if she's eaten anything today. Let me check. I'm going to call and see if she's eaten anything. Because I'm supposed to feed her. She's been sleeping a lot today. I've checked on her a bunch of times and I asked if I could feed her and she said no. She wasn't hungry.
if you want to actually go check on her, I could just read this article and you can...
Go ahead, I'll ask her. If she needs something, I'll go do it. Just go ahead and start reading.
Okay. This is from Time.
Hello, dear. I'm on the pod right now. I just wanted to check and see if you need anything. Uh-huh. Did he jump off the bed? Okay, that's funny. Did you get something to eat? Okay, when I'm done with the pot, I'll get you something cooked up. Yep. Yep, next half hour, 45 minutes, definitely. All right, bye-bye. All right, I got a half hour to 45 minutes, and then I'm going to cook something.
Oh. So yeah, this is from Time, and it's the secret history of the shadow campaign that, quote, saved the 2020 election. I say quote because, it's them saying it, not me. By Molly Ball, February 4th, 2021. A weird thing happened right after the November 3rd election. Nothing. The nation was braced for chaos. Liberal groups had vowed to take to the streets, planning hundreds of protests across the country. Right-wing militias were girding for battle. In a poll before Election Day, 75% of Americans voiced concerns about violence. Instead, an eerie quiet descended. As President Trump refused to concede, the response was not mass action, but crickets. When media organizations called the race for Joe Biden on November 7th, jubilation broke out instead, as people thronged cities across the U.S. to celebrate the democratic process that resulted in Trump's ouster. The second odd thing that happened, amid Trump's attempts to reverse the result, corporate America turned on him. Hundreds of major business leaders, many of whom had backed Trump's candidacy and supported his policies, called on him to concede. To the president, something felt amiss. It was all very strange, Trump said on December 2nd. Within days after the election, we witnessed an orchestrated effort to anoint the winner, even while many key states were still being counted. In a way, Trump was right. There was a conspiracy unfolding behind the scenes, one that both curtailed the protest and coordinated the resistance from CEOs. Both surprises were the result of an informal alliance between left-wing activists and business titans. The pact was formalized in a terse, little-noticed joint statement of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and AFL-CIO published on election day, not days. Both sides would come to see it as a sort of implicit bargain, inspired by the summer's massive, sometimes destructive, racial justice protests, in which the forces of labor came together with the forces of capital to keep the peace and oppose Trump's assault on democracy. The handshake between business and labor was just one component of a vast cross-partisan campaign to protect the election, an extraordinary shadow effort dedicated not to winning the vote, but to ensuring it would be free and fair.
Yeah, dedicated not to winning the vote, you fucking scam artists. Continue.
Credible and uncorrupted.
Yeah.
For more than a year, a loosely organized coalition of operatives scrambled to shore up America's institutions as they came under simultaneous attack from a remorseless pandemic and an autocratically inclined president. Though much of this activity took place on the left, it was separate from the Biden campaign and crossed ideological lines with crucial contributions by nonpartisan and conservative actors. The scenario the shadow campaigners were desperate to stop was not a Trump victory. It was an election so calamitous that no result could be discerned at all. A failure of the central act of democratic self-governance that has been the hallmark of America since its founding. Their work touched every aspect of the election. They got states to change voting systems and laws and helped secure hundreds of millions in public and private funding. They fended off voter suppression lawsuits, recruited armies of poll workers, and got millions of people to vote by mail for the first time. They successfully pressured social media companies to take a harder line against disinformation and use data-driven strategies to fight viral smears. They executed national public awareness campaigns that helped Americans understand how the vote count would unfold over days or weeks, preventing Trump's conspiracy theories and false claims of victory from getting more traction. After Election Day, they monitored every pressure point to ensure that Trump could not overturn the result. The untold story of the election is the thousands of people of both parties who accomplished the triumph of American democracy at its very foundation, says Norm Eisen, a prominent lawyer and former Obama administration official who recruited Republicans and Democrats to the board of the Voter Protection Program. For Trump and his allies were running their own campaign to spoil the election. The president spent months insisting that mail-in ballots were a Democratic plot and the election would be rigged.
They're not?
His henchmen at the state level got to block their use, while his lawyers bought dozens of spurious suits to make it more difficult to vote, an intensification of the GOP's legacy of suppressive tactics. Before the election, Trump plotted to block a legitimate vote count. He spent months following November 3rd trying to steal the election he'd lost with lawsuits and conspiracy theories. Pressure on state and local officials, and finally summoning his army of supporters to the January 6th rally that ended in deadly violence at the Capitol. The democracy campaigners watched with alarm. Every week, we felt like we were in a struggle to try to pull off this election without the country going through a real dangerous moment of unraveling, says former GOP Representative Zach Wamp, a Trump supporter who helped coordinate a bipartisan election protection council. We can look back and say that this thing went pretty well, but it was not at all clear in September and October that that was going to be the case. This is the inside story of the conspiracy to save the 2020 election, based on access to the group's inner workings, never before seen documents and interviews with dozens of those involved from across the political spectrum. It is the story of an unprecedented, creative, and determined campaign whose success also reveals how close the nation came to disaster. Every attempt to interfere with the proper outcome of the election was defeated, says Ian Basson, co-founder of Protected Democracy, a nonpartisan rule of law advocacy group. But it's massively important for the country to understand that it didn't happen accidentally. The system didn't work magically. Democracy is not self-executing. That's why the participants want the secret history of the 2020 election told, even though it sounds like a paranoid fever dream. A well-funded cabal of powerful people ranging across industries and ideologies working together behind the scenes to influence perceptions, change rules and laws, steer media coverage, and control the flow of information.
Yeah.
They were not rigged
They
the election.
scammed it, they rigged the election. They rigged the election and then they covered for it.
Hey, let me reread that one.
Yeah,
They were
read
not
it.
rigging the election. They were fortifying it. And they believe the public needs to understand the system's fragility in order to
The system's
ensure
white
that
fragility.
democracy endures. Holy crap, you're not joking, this is long. There's there's sections, there's like chapters. This is like a chapter book.
Read it. It's good. This is your time to shine, Rose. Read the whole article. It's wonderful. I'm just going to chime in with what the fucks every so often.
Okay. The Alliance. On March 3rd, Pod Horzer drafted a three-page confidential memo titled Threats to the 2020 Election. Trump has made it clear that this will not be a fair election and that he will reject anything but his own re-election as fake and rigged, he wrote. On November 3rd, should the media report otherwise, he will use the right-wing information system to establish his narrative and incite his supporters to protest. The memo laid out 4 categories of challenges.
The information system they deleted? Do they mean the information system that they deleted from Earth?
No.
You know, like when they deleted my account the night of the election, am I the right-wing information system? Fuck you, motherfuckers. You're gonna go to hell and burn for what you did. You are fucking evil. You're evil, and you're the worst of America. You've destroyed our country. You're fucking evil. Yep.
Do you want me to read this, or do you
Keep going, yeah.
Okay, I can't remember where I was here. Okay. Otherwise, he will use the right-wing information system to establish his narrative and incite his supporters to protest. The memo laid out 4 categories of challenges. Attacks on voters, attacks on election administration, attacks on Trump's political opponents, and efforts to reverse the results of the election. See, the thing is, this sets it up to where if they cheated like fucking crazy, they're like, after the election, if Trump says we cheated, he's lying.
Yep. They set it up. The New York Times reported the fake vote dumps that they were going to do was going to be normal. That's what these people do. They're putting it out there. They're saying what they did. They're telling you. They're telling you in plain sight what they did. They're telling you, we fucked you over, and here's how we did it. We got to let you know. They can't just keep it quiet. They're going to tell you what they did. They're not going to tell you all of what they did, like we own the technology to the voting machines. We are the tech companies. We can influence things that way. The voting machines were connected to the internet. They're not supposed to be. They're not going to tell you all that, but you'll get this much. You'll get some of it. They're telling you they rigged the election, and this is how they did it.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Then COVID-19 erupted, and at the height of the primary election season, normal methods of voting were no longer safe for voters, or the mostly elderly volunteers.
I voted in person.
Staff polling
It was
places.
safe for me. I went there in person. So did Professor Bam. We voted in person here in Florida. Why was it not safe?
Yeah, we voted in person too.
It was not safe because you'll fucking lose the election, you scam artist bitches. You are fucking losers. You're losers. But the others are losers too because they let you do this shit to them. They let you scam them. These Republicans are morons. You're all flawed. I don't like any of you. Go to hell. That's my thoughts. Keep going.
Okay, where were we? No longer safe for voters are the mostly elderly volunteers who normally staff polling places. But political disagreements intensified by Trump's crusade against mail voting prevented some states from making it easier to vote absentee and for jurisdictions to count these votes in a timely manner. Chaos ensued. Ohio shut down in-person voting for its primary, leading to minuscule turnout. What? Okay. A poll worker shortage in Milwaukee, where Wisconsin's heavily Democratic black population is concentrated, left just 5 open polling places down from 182.
That's where they cheated. Milwaukee. Milwaukee's where they have like 130% of the vote. They can't say any of the people who voted because they don't know who actually voted.
Yeah.
Yeah, Milwaukee's one of the biggest scams in the whole country.
Okay. Where were we here? Okay, suddenly, wait, hold on. York vote counting took more than a month. Suddenly, the potential for a November meltdown was obvious. In his apartment in the D.C. suburbs, Pod Horzer began working from his laptop at his kitchen table, holding back-to-back Zoom meetings for hours a day with his network of contacts across the progressive universe, the labor movement, the institutional left, like Planned Parenthood and Greenpeace, resistance groups like Indivisible and Move On, progressive data geeks and strategists, representatives of donors and foundations, state-level grassroots organizers, racial justice activists, and others. In April, Pod Horzer began hosting a weekly 2.5-hour Zoom. It was structured around a series of rapid-fire 5-minute presentations on everything from which ads were working to messaging to legal strategy. The invitation-only gathering soon attracted hundreds, creating a rare shared base of knowledge for a fractious progressive movement. At the risk of talking trash about the left, there's not a lot of good information sharing, says Annette Shanker-Osario, a close Pod Horzer friend whose poll-tested messaging guidance shaped the group's approach. There's a lot of not-invented-here syndrome, where people won't consider a good idea if they didn't come up with it. The meetings became a galactic center for a constellation of operatives across the left who shared overlapping goals but didn't usually work in concert. The group had no name, no leaders, no hierarchy, but it kept the disparate actors in sync. Pod played a critical behind-the-scenes role in keeping different pieces of the movement infrastructure in communication and aligned, says Maurice Mitchell, National Director of the Working Families Party. You have the litigation space, the organizing space, the political people just focused on the W, and their strategies aren't always aligned. He allowed this ecosystem to work together. Predicting the election would require effort of unprecedented scale. As 2020 progressed, it stretched to Congress, Silicon Valley, and the nation's state houses. It drew energy from the summer's racial injustice protests, many whose leaders were a key part of the Liberal Alliance. And eventually, it reached across the aisle into the world of Trump-skeptical Republicans appalled by his attacks on democracy. Next chapter, securing the vote. The first task was overhauling America's bulky election infrastructure in the middle of a pandemic. For thousands of local, mostly nonpartisan officials who administer elections, the most urgent need was money. They needed productive equipment like masks, gloves, and hand sanitizer. They needed to pay for postcards letting people know they could vote absentee, or in some states, to mail ballots to every voter. They needed additional staff and scanners to process ballots. In March, activists appealed to Congress to steer COVID relief money to election administration. What? Led by the leadership. What? Hold on. In March, activists appealed to Congress to steer COVID relief money to election administration?
Mm-hmm.
What?
There you have it. They stole the election, and they did it illegally in many ways.
COVID relief money?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
To go for Democrat progressive causes in the election, not just the election. They want it so you don't have to have an ID, so there can just be a fucking scam, a fraud. That's what it is. They bust them in, they bust people from district to district. Now they don't even have to do that. Now they can just...
The thing is, everything else didn't surprise me, but that one, I'm like, wow.
That's surprising.
These are fucking shitty people.
They tell you how they did it. They tell you how they stole the election. There's more than this, but man, just this alone is pretty wild. You can do nothing about it.
Relief money.
We can do nothing about it. We're going to use COVID relief money for the election.
Okay. Let me continue reading.
Yep.
Led by the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, more than 150 organizations signed a letter to every member of Congress seeking $2 billion in election funding. It was somewhat successful. The CARES Act passed later that month. contained $400 million in grants to state election administrators. This is all the shit Pelosi was trying to pack into all the stimuluses. Every time they were trying to get a stimulus through, Nancy Pelosi was packing a lot of this stuff in there. Basic. Okay.
Election scam money.
$400 million in grants to state election administrators. But the next tranche of relief funding didn't add to that number. It wasn't going to be enough. Private philanthropy stepped into the breach. An assortment of foundations contributed tens of millions in election administration funding. The Chan Zuckerberg Initiative.
Zuckerberg and his wife put $400 million into scamming the election.
Dipped in $300 million. It was a failure at the federal level that 2,500 local election officials were forced to apply for philanthropic grants to fill their needs, says Amber McReynolds, a former Denver election official who heads the nonpartisan National Vote at Home Institute.
The National Vote at Home Institute? Oh, yeah, that won't be fraudulent at all.
Oh, yeah, the National Vote at Home Institute, right. McReynolds' two-year-old organization, the National Vote at Home Institute, is 2 years old. Okay. Became a clearinghouse for a nation struggling to adapt. The Institute gave secretaries of state from both parties technical advice on everything from which vendors to use to how to locate drop boxes.
Drop boxes, that's illegal. You can't just put votes in a drop box.
Right.
That's illegal.
It depends on the state, I think. I'm not certain. Local officials are the most trusted sources of election information, but few can afford a press secretary, so the Institute distributed communications toolkits in a presentation to Podhorzer's group. McReynolds detailed the importance of absentee ballots for shortening lines at polling places and preventing an election crisis. The Institute work helped 37 states and D.C. bolster mail voting, but it wouldn't be worth much if people didn't take advantage. Part of the challenge was logistical. Each state has different rules for when and how ballots should be requested and returned. The Voter Participation Center, which in a normal year would have deployed canvassers door to door to get out the vote, instead conducted focus groups in April and May to find out what would get people to vote by mail. In August and September, it sent ballot applications to 15 million people in key states, 4.6 million of whom returned them. In mailings and digital ads, the group urged people not to wait for Election Day. All the work we had done for 17 years was built for this moment of bringing democracy to people's doorsteps, says Tom LePack, the center CEO. The effort had to overcome heightened skepticism in some communities. Many black voters preferred to exercise their franchise in person or didn't trust the mail. National civil rights groups worked with local organizations to get the word out that this was the best way to ensure one's vote was counted. In Philadelphia, for example, advocates distributed voting safety kits containing masks, hand sanitizer, and informational brochures. We had to get the message out that it is safe, reliable, and you can trust it, says Hannah Fried of All Voting is Legal.
The company's called All Voting is Legal? Illegal alien voting is legal? It's not. Illegal alien voting is illegal. Voting 6 times is illegal. All voting is not legal, bitch. You dumb motherfucker. It's not all legal. It's all voting is legal.
Of All Voting is Legal.
A Russian citizen cannot vote in an American election. That's illegal. You dumbass.
Oh, man. Hold on. I need a breath.
Hannah Fry of All Voting is Legal. I gotta contact Hannah. Hannah, are you retarded?
Yeah. Okay. What about Russian voting? Is Russian voting legal?
Yeah, Russian voting in the American election. That all voting is legal, Rose. Don't you know?
Right. Apparently. According to Hannah Fried, who is part of a group named All Voting is Legal. Okay. At the same time, Democratic lawyers battled a historic tide of pre-election litigation. The pandemic intensified the parties' usual tangling in the court, but lawyers noticed something else as well. The litigation brought by the Trump campaign of a piece with the broader campaign to sow doubt about mail-in voting was making novel claims and using theories no court has ever accepted, says Wendy Weiser, a voting rights expert at the Brennan Center for Justice at NYU.
The Brennan Center? That's
the
nice.
Brennan Center for Justice at NYU.
That's cool. Dale and Brennan.
Yeah.
I'll put my nutsack on your drum set.
Okay. They read more like lawsuits designed to send a message rather than achieve a legal outcome. In the end, yeah, the message is, we know what the fuck you're doing. How are you just fucking doing this crazy shit right in front of our damn eyes?
The message is,
But any.
all voting is not legal, bitch. And you're a retard.
Yeah.
That's the message. And I will remind you every minute of every day. Okay? That's the message.
I feel like some of these people, you know how when babies are born, you're warned about that soft spot in their head?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe somebody might have, messed with that soft spot in their head a bit too much.
All voting
But
is legal.
anyhow, all voting is legal. All right. In the end, nearly half the electorate cast ballots by mail in 2020. Practically a revolution in how people vote. About a quarter voted early in person. Only a quarter of voters cast their ballots the traditional way in person on Election Day. Okay, the
I
next
was one of them.
chapter.
That's how
Only
we
a
voted
quarter
here
of
in
people.
Florida. In Florida, look how it turned out. Trump dominated even more than last time. Weird. Imagine that. If Florida's the predictor of the election, who wins, Florida wins. Weird how that happens. Weird how Ohio predicts the election. Trump dominated Ohio. Strange.
Yeah, but apparently all voting is legal, so,
All voting is legal.
There's that one. What was the other one?
I don't
That made
know.
me laugh the fuck out loud. I can't even remember.
All voting is legal. That's the one.
Oh, there was the National Vote at Home Institute. That's 2 years
Yeah.
old.
But they say 2 years old too. It's only 1 year old. They're counting 21 and 20
Right.
because now it's
They
21.
created it during COVID as a plan, probably before COVID.
Yeah, they did.
But
They created COVID before this to be able to do all this stuff. That's why it's called the plandemic, to get rid of Trump. That's why I have another article. Okay, hold on. Fuck this
all right,
shit.
give me a moment. I'm gonna move on to the next chapter, and we'll continue. Okay, and then we'll do whatever article you have
Hold
next,
on.
I guess.
Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Hold on. Hello, Professor Bam. I am on the podcast. How can I help you? Yeah, sure. We're on for about maybe 20 more minutes or so. Okay, you want to come down and... Okay. Hang on a few minutes. Sure I will. Yep, will do. Here, bye. Okay, I gotta do something. You keep reading the article, Rose. I'll come back and listen to this portion later.
All right, I will get back to it in
You're
one
doing
moment. I thought I had
a
a
wonderful
longer to get
time,
coffee.
a wonderful thing. Rose, I'm really appreciating you reading the article. Thank you.
I'm still just shocked by that. All voting is legal. Like, how is that a group? doesn't even make sense. But we'll get on to the next chapter in one moment. Just getting a cup of coffee. Figured I needed the coffee tonight to keep up with whatever energy brand was the Buck was bringing. Okay. The next chapter is titled The Disinformation Defense. Bad actors spreading false information is nothing new. For decades, campaigns have grappled with everything from anonymous calls claiming the election has been rescheduled to flyers spreading nasty smears about candidates' families. But Trump's lies and conspiracy theories, the viral force of social media, and the involvement
Quiet. We're live. Be quiet.
The involvement of foreign meddlers made disinformation a broader, deeper threat to the 2020 vote. Laura Quinn, a veteran progressive operative who co-founded Catalyst, began studying this program a few years ago. She piloted a nameless secret project, which she has never before publicly discussed, that tracked disinformation online and tried to figure out how to combat it. One component was tracking dangerous lies that might otherwise spread unnoticed. Researchers then provided information to campaigners on the media to track down sources and expose them. The most important takeaway from Quinn's research, however, was that engaging with toxic content only made it worse. When you get attacked, the instinct is to push back, call it out, and say, this isn't true, Quinn says. But the more engagement something gets, the more platforms boost it. The algorithm reads that as, oh, this is popular. People want more of it. The solution, she concluded, was to pressure platforms to enforce their rules, both by removing content or accounts that spread disinformation and by more aggressively policing it in the first place. The platforms have policies against certain types of malign behavior. But they haven't been enforcing them, she says. Like probably that whole Hunter Biden shit. Quinn's research gave ammunition to advocates pushing social media platforms to take a harder line. In November 2019, Mark Zuckerberg invited 9 civil rights leaders to dinner at his home, where they warned him about the danger of the election-related falsehoods that were already spreading unchecked. It took pushing, urging conversations, brainstorming, all of that to get to a place where we ended up with more rigorous rules and enforcement, says Vanita Gupta, President and CEO of the Leadership Conference on Civil and Human Rights, who attended the dinner and also met with Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey and others.
So that's why Mark Zuckerberg deleted my account on the night of the election. I got it. Now we've learned why. All of his new rigorous rules to look at anything I'm saying because I'm effective and make me be deleted. Got it.
Gupta has been nominated for Associate Attorney General by President Biden. It was a struggle, but we got to the point where they understood the problem. Was it enough? Probably not. Was it later than we wanted? Yes, but it was really important, given the level of official disinformation that they had those rules in place and were tagging things and taking them down. Yeah, that'd be the Hunter Biden scandal, which shortly after the election, even CNN was saying was true. So, whatever. Spreading the word is in the next chapter. I'm calling these chapters because this is very long.
It's like a book.
I suppose they want to lay their whole plan out for us. Spreading the word. Beyond battling bad information, there was a need to explain a rapidly changing election process. Let me read that again. Beyond battling bad information, there was a need to explain a rapidly changing election process. No shit, you still haven't, really. It was crucial for voters to understand that despite what Trump was saying, mail-in votes weren't susceptible to fraud, and that it would be normal if some states weren't finish counting votes on election night.
Yeah.
Dick Gephardt, the Democratic former House leader turned high-powered lobbyist, spearheaded one coalition. We wanted to get a really bipartisan group of former elected officials, cabinet secretaries, military leaders, and so on, aimed mainly at messaging to the public, but also speaking to local officials, secretaries of state, attorneys general, governors who would be in the eye of the storm, to let them know we wanted to help, says Gephardt, who worked his contacts in the private sector to put $20 million behind the effort. Wamp, the former GOP congressman, worked through the nonpartisan reform group Issue 1 to rally Republicans. We thought we should bring some bipartisan element of unity around what constitutes a free and fair election, Wamp says. The 22 Democrats and 22 Republicans on the National Council on Election Integrity met on Zoom at least once a week. They ran ads in 6 states, made statements, wrote articles, and alerted officials to potential problems. We had rabid Trump supporters who agreed to serve on the... What? We had rabid Trump supporters who agreed to serve on the council based on the idea that this is honest, Wamp says. This is going to be just as important, he told them, to convince the liberals when Trump wins. Whichever way it cuts, we're going to stick together. Hold on, let me read that again. Rabid Trump supporters, he says. He told them...
he tricked people.
They were convinced it was honest. He told them this is going to be just as important, he told them, to convince liberals when Trump wins. Whichever way it cuts, we're going to stick together.
No, we're not.
The Voting Rights Lab and Into Action created state-specific memes and graphics spread by email, text, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, urging that every vote be counted. Together, they were viewed more than 1 billion times. Protect Democracy's Election Task Force issued reports and held media briefings with high-profile experts across the political spectrum, resulting in widespread coverage of potential election issues and fact-checking of Trump's false claims. The organization's tracking polls found the message was being heard. The percentage of the public that didn't expect to know the winner on election night gradually rose until by late October it was over 70%.
No.
A majority also believed that a prolonged count wasn't a sign of problems.
Wrong.
We knew exactly what Trump was going to do. He was going to try to use the fact that Democrats voted by mail and Republicans voted in person to make it look like he was ahead, claim victory, say the mail-in votes were fraudulent, and try to get them thrown out, says Protected Democracy's Basson. Setting public expectations ahead of time helped undercut those lies. The alliance took a common set of themes from the research Schenker Osario presented at Podhorser's Zooms. Studies have shown that when people don't think their vote will count or fear casting it will be a hassle, they're far less likely to participate. Throughout election season, members of Podhorser's group minimized incidents of voter intimidation and tamped down rising liberal hysteria about Trump's expected refusal to concede. They didn't want to amplify false claims by engaging them, or put people off off voting by suggesting a rigged game. When you say these claims of fraud are spurious, what people hear is fraud, Schenker Osario says. What we saw in our pre-election research was that anything that reaffirmed Trump's power or cast him as an authoritarian diminished people's desire to vote. Podhorser, meanwhile, was warning everyone he knew that polls were underestimating Trump's support. Podhorser, meanwhile, was warning everyone he knew that polls were underestimating Trump's support. Okay, so Podhorser knew Trump had a lot of support, eh?
Yeah, 75 million votes.
Huh?
75 million votes. Most
the data
ever.
he shared with media organizations who would be calling the election was tremendously useful to understand what was happening to the votes to what was happening as the votes rolled in. According to a member of a major network's political unit who spoke with Podhorzer before Election Day, most analysts had recognized that there would be a blue shift in key battlegrounds, the surge of votes breaking towards the Democrats, driven by tallies of mail-in ballots. But they hadn't comprehended how much better Trump was likely to do on Election Day. Being able to document how big the absentee wave would be and the variance by state was essential, analyst says.
Yeah, that's why they took so many days to fucking count the votes, because they had to manufacture new votes. They had no idea Trump was going to have no president who gets the votes he got. No president who gets 3 million more votes than they got the first win loses. He got fucking 10 million more votes than he won the first time. 12 million. There's no one who does that. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Right.
There's so many things that are impossible about this fucking fraud. It's a fraud.
I think a lot of people that are happy with Robadoo's win aren't necessarily thinking about the numbers that closely.
Nobody. He had a
They don't
20%
realize that
increase.
Trump didn't lose voters. He got 300 million more.
No, that's the wrong number. But 12 million more.
Oh, 12 million.
12 million more. A 20% increase over a blowout victory the first time in the Electoral College. He got 20% more voters.
I must have heard you wrong.
Yeah.
I must have. Okay.
Yep, 12 million. 12 million more. I said 3. If you get 3 million more, Trump's people told them if he got 3 million more, there's zero chance he can lose. He didn't get 3 million. He got 12 million more.
I've got this weird thing where numbers tend to go in one ear and out the other with me, so I
Yeah.
mean, I get why some people aren't paying attention to numbers, because I'm somebody who doesn't usually pay attention to numbers, but
Well, this is a numbers thing. It's an election.
Right, it is definitely a numbers thing.
They fraudulently
It's also a language
scammed
thing,
this
because
election.
you can see exactly what they're saying in their language, so the language part of my brain is like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Even if I don't necessarily have the fine-tuning in the numbers side of my brain, my language side is like, what the hell? But anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
The next chapter is called People Power. The racial justice uprising sparked by George Floyd's killing in May was not primarily a political movement. The organizers who helped lead it wanted to harness its momentum for the election without allowing it to be co-opted by politicians. Many of those organizers were part of Podhorzer's network. From the the organizers of those, they were part of Podhorzer's network, of course. From the activists in battleground states to partnered with the Democracy Defense Coalition to the organizations with leading roles in the movement for Black Lives. The best way to ensure people's voices were heard, they decided, was to protect their ability to vote. We started thinking about a program that would complement the traditional election protection area, but also didn't rely on calling the police, says Nalini Stamp, the Working Families Party National Organizing Director. Yeah, so they wanted to basically have their own voter security that weren't police for some reason.
Those are the ones that threw out all the poll watchers for the Republicans? The security?
Okay. So the Working Family Party's National Organizing Director, they created a force of election defenders who, unlike traditional poll watchers, were trained in de-escalation techniques. During early voting and on Election Day, they surrounded lines of voters in urban areas with a joy-to-the-polls effort that turned the act of casting a ballot into a street party. Black organizers also recruited thousands of poll workers to ensure polling places would stay open in their communities. Okay, so these election defenders with their de-escalation techniques, I suppose that includes the throwing people out, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing the poll watchers out of the fucking building.
Yep.
Right. Mm-hmm. The summer uprising had shown that people power could have a massive impact. Activists began preparing to reprise the demonstrations if Trump tried to steal the election. Americans plan widespread protests if Trump interferes with election, Reuters reported in October. One of many such stories, more than 150 liberal groups, from the Women's March to the Sierra Club to Color of Change, from Democrats.com to Democratic Socialists of America, joined the Protect the Results Coalition. The group's now defunct website had a map listing 400 planned post-election demonstrations to be activated via text message as soon as November 4th. To stop the coup they feared, the left was ready to flood the streets. Oh, how were they going to stop a coup? By flooding the streets. What was their plan?
I don't know. Get shot in the face?
Well, I don't know if they would have been shot in the face. But, you know.
Maybe they could have been,
Okay.
though. You never know.
Next chapter. Strange Bedfellows. About a week before Election Day, Podhorzer received an unexpected message. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce wanted to talk. The AFL-CIO and the Chamber have a long history of antagonism. Though neither organization is explicitly partisan, the influential business lobby has poured hundreds of millions of dollars into Republican campaigns, just as the nation's unions funnel hundreds of millions to Democrats. On one side is labor, on the other management, locked in an eternal struggle for power and resources. But behind the scenes, the business community was engaged in its own anxious discussions about how the election and its aftermath might unfold. The summer's racial justice protests had sent a signal to business owners, too. The potential for economy-disrupting civil disorder. With tensions running high, there was a lot of concern about unrest around the election, or a breakdown in our normal way, in our normal way we handle contentious elections, says Neil Bradley, the Chamber's Executive Vice President and Chief Policy Officer. These worries had led to the Chamber to release a pre-election statement with the Business Roundtable, a Washington-based CEOs group, as well as associations of manufacturers, wholesalers, and retailers calling for patience and confidence as votes were counted. Bradley wanted to send a broader, more bipartisan message. He reached out to Podhorzer through an intermediary. Both men declined to name. We probably shouldn't guess names either.
Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, agreeing that their unlikely alliance would be powerful, they began to discuss a joint statement pledging their organization's shared commitment to a fair and peaceful election. They chose their words carefully and scheduled the statement's release for maximum impact. As it was being finalized, Christian leaders signaled their interest in joining, further broadening its reach. The statement was released on Election Day under the names of Chamber CEO Thomas Donahue, AFL-CIO President, and Richard Trumka, and the heads of the National Association of Evangelicals and the National African American Clergy Network. It is imperative that the election officials be given the space and time to count every vote in accordance with applicable laws, it stated.
They broke the laws. They broke all the fucking laws. It was just proven in Virginia they broke the laws.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to come out. So it will all come out in these places that the laws were broken. The problem is, you're not going to be able to overturn this election. Even if you show it was fraudulent at this point, it's confirmed. They pushed this shit through. They wanted that bad orange man gone. They needed him gone. He was in their way, and look what they're doing now. They're right back on track, and it ain't Obama and it ain't Biden. It's the people that are behind him.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. We call on the media, the candidates, and the American people to exercise patience with the process and trust in our system. even if it requires more time than usual, the groups added. Although we may not always agree on desired outcomes up and down the ballot, we are united in our call for the American democratic process to proceed without violence, intimidation, or any other tactic that makes us weaker as a nation. The next chapter. See, they had it all planned. They had it all planned that they were going to cause unrest in the streets.
Yeah, they
if
did.
They lost.
They did have that plan. That's true.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Showing up, standing down. Election night began with many Democrats despairing. Trump was running ahead of pre-election polling, winning Florida, Ohio, and Texas easily, and keeping Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania too close to call. But Podhorzer was unperturbed when I spoke to him that night. The returns were exactly in line with his modeling. He had been warning for weeks that Trump voters' turnout was surging. As members dribbled out, he could tell that as long as all the votes were counted, Trump would lose. The Liberal Alliance gathered for an 11 p.m. Zoom call. Hundreds joined. Many were freaking out. So, hold on. This guy supposedly wasn't surprised that Trump had a really, really, really high voter turnout, but also wasn't afraid because he knew Joe Biden would win.
I wonder how we knew that. Weird.
I mean, especially if he knew that Trump would have a really high turnout. Okay. The Liberal Alliance gathered for an 11 p.m. Zoom call. Hundreds joined. Many were freaking out. It was really important for me and the team in that moment to help ground people. And what we had already known was true, says Angela Peoples, director for the Democracy Defense Coalition. Podhorzer presented data to show the group that victory was in hand. While he was talking, Fox News surprised everyone by calling Arizona for Biden. The public awareness campaign had worked. TV anchors were bending over backward to counsel caution and frame the vote count accurately. The question then became what to do next. The conversation that followed was a difficult one, led by activists charged with the protest strategy. We wanted to be mindful of when was the right time to call for moving masses of people into the street. What? We wanted to be mindful of when was the right time to call for moving masses of people into the street. Okay.
You hear that? I hear that.
Yeah. As much as they were eager to mount a show of strength, mobilizing immediately could backfire and put people at risk. Protests that devolved into violent clashes would give Trump a pretext to send in federal agents or troops, as he had over the summer. Rather than elevate Trump's complaints by continuing to fight him, the alliance wanted to send the message that the people had spoken. So the word went out. Stand down. Protect the results. Announced that it would not be activating the entire national mobilization network today, but remains ready to activate if necessary. On Twitter, outraged progressive wondered what was going on. Why wasn't anyone trying to stop Trump's coup? Where were all the protests? Podhorzer.
What a stupid name. Listen, what a fucking retarded name. They have to keep saying Podhorzer. Fuck you,
right.
is your name.
Also, this is basically confirming that all of these protest groups that have been protesting and buildings being burned down
was an insurrection. It was a planned insurrection.
Protest groups were ran by these people, and they're admitting it.
Yep, and those people were in cahoots with all the companies. It's all a big fuckery, and it's all in Time magazine. Can you imagine that? Unbelievable.
And they're proud of this.
They are. They're telling you what they did. They're telling you what they did. They fucked over America. Here's how they did it, and they're telling you how. They're not telling you all how. They're not showing you the man behind the curtain, how they did the votes and everything, but they're telling you how they got a lot of this shit. They're telling you how they stopped you.
Being controlled by these people.
Yep. Nobody can do anything about it, I guess, huh? Your vote doesn't count. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
I'm just here to pick up my check and my Black Lives Matter shirt.
Protests. Podhorser credits the activists for their restraint. They had spent so much time getting ready to hit the streets on Wednesday, but they did it, he says. Wednesday through Friday, there was not a single Antifa versus Proud Boys incident like everyone was expecting. And when that didn't materialize, I don't think the Trump campaign had a backup plan. Activists reoriented the Protect the Results protest toward a weekend of celebration. Counter their disinfo with our confidence and get ready to celebrate.
Yeah.
Let me read that. Let me read it again. Counter their disinfo with our confidence and get ready to celebrate.
Yep.
Oh, Lord. Okay, hold on. Whew. Oh, Lord. Read the messaging guidance Schenker Osorio presented to the Liberal Alliance on Friday. Declare and fortify our win. Vibe. Confident, forward-looking, unified, not passive, anxious. Declare and fortify our win. Vibe. Confident, forward-looking, unified, not passive or anxious. Okay. The voters, not the candidates, would be the protagonists of the story. No, they're the dupes of the story, but anyhow. The planned day of celebration happened to coincide with the election being called on November 7th. Activists dancing in the streets of Philadelphia blasted Beyonce over an attempted Trump campaign press conference. The Trumpers' next confab was scheduled for Four Seasons Total Landscaping outside the city center, which activists believe was not a coincidence. The people of Philadelphia own the streets of Philadelphia. Crows, the Working Families Party's Mitchell. We made them look ridiculous by contrasting our joyous celebration of democracy with their clown show. The votes had been counted. Trump had lost, but the battle wasn't over. The 5 steps to victory. In Podhorser's presentations, winning the vote was only the first step to winning the election. After that came winning the count, winning the certification, winning the Electoral College, and winning the transition. Steps that are normally formalities, but that he knew Trump would see as opportunities for disruption. Nowhere would that be more evident than in Michigan, where Trump's pressure on local Republicans came perilously close to working, and where liberal and conservative pro-democracy forces joined to counter it. It was around 10 p.m. on election night in Detroit when a flurry of texts lit up the phone of Art Reyes III. A busload of Republican election observers had arrived at the TCF Center where votes were being tallied. They were crowding the vote-counting tables, refusing to wear masks, heckling the mostly black workers. Reyes, a Flint native who leads the We the People Michigan, was expecting this. For months, conservative groups had been sowing the suspicion about urban vote fraud. The language was, they're going to steal the election, there will be fraud in Detroit, long before any vote was cast, Reyes says. You know, I remember this, and it was just like, yeah, there were some people protesting around that specific place, but they were just standing there peacefully, protesting that the vote wasn't being fucking counted right.
Yeah.
You know?
How much longer is this article?
A lot longer.
All right, it's posted in the comments. It's fantastic, wonderful. You've done a great job reading it. Basically, what we've taken from this is it was a scam. The election was a fraud. Okay, and you can go right there to that time link in the live comments. Anybody who's on this, we'll try to put it in the regular comments too. I think it's really important. So
we're down to one door now, so.
Yep. So that's what it is. I've had a fantastic day today. In closing out the Benona Buck number 25, I just want to say one more time, I'm so thankful to have gotten the Super Bowl victory today. So thankful. Tom Brady got number 7 right down here in Tampa. So thankful to be able to go to all the games next season, hopefully, because I have an article I was going to read, but miraculously, COVID has dropped 45% since Joe Biden got into office. All around the world. Isn't that interesting? How did that happen? How did it go down by 45%?
I believe Joe Biden to have magical powers.
Because there's no, and I'll read the article tomorrow, but we're not at herd immunity. We're not at anything. He just got in, and within 3 weeks, we're down 45%. So that's an interesting point, and we're going to lead off tomorrow on the pod with that. You did a great job, Rose, reading this article. It's been wonderful to have you on. Please, people, give us all the downvotes. Keep them coming. We love it. Or just have an open mind. Give us upvotes. Give us comments. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and be a part of the B Money family. I see we got a couple more subscribers today than we had yesterday, so that's cool.
We got all those views, some downvotes, and a couple new subscribers.
Weird. Yep.
All in one day.
Yep. So interesting. Really, I'll take it all. I don't mind. It's all controversial. Just keep listening to us. We'll keep improving. And I'm going to go right now and take care of Professor Bam. I got to go. My dogs are smashing in on the door. They need to come in the house. So I'm going to go take care of the dogs. And you guys have a fantastic night. We'll be back for number 26. B Money number 26 tomorrow, starring Rose Clarity and B Money. See ya.